And a very good Friday afternoon, evening, everyone. Joe Benigno back with you again, the Oda Pain podcast. Friday, it is, what is it now? July 11th, and it is 2025. The Joe Benigno Oda Pain podcast brought to you by the Hackensack Brewing Company, by Need a Discount Tire, by Manscaped. All right, we'll start with this. I just came off the golf course, so we're actually just doing this in the afternoon. So I actually played decently today. Nobody cares about my golf game, after being just horrendous yesterday, but that's golf. I want to start with this, and I really want to reel in my fellow Met fans, okay? Let me just say this. It was brutal yesterday losing a doubleheader to the Orioles, all right? I mean, it sucked. There's no doubt about it. And, I can go crazy here. I mean, what is Mendoza doing, taking Peterson out? After 7 innings, gives up a hit, let the guy freaking pitch. Can't wait to put the absolute stiff Stanek in the game. Couldn't agree with that more, 100%. Especially when your best starting pitcher is Peterson. I mean, let's be honest about it. In all due respect to Senga, I guess specifically it's Senga, Mania we haven't seen all year. When David Peterson is your best pitcher, why the hell, and he's the only guy that consistently goes 6+ all the time, 7 innings, he's even pitched a complete game. And I know he had those 2 bad outings against Pittsburgh in Pittsburgh, and I forget who the other one was against, maybe Tampa. I forget who the other one was against. But he had 2 bad outings in a row where he got hit hard. But overall, he's pitched great. He's actually going to be on the All-Star team now. To me, he's the best starter. He's the guy that gives him the most length, the whole deal. I got to live and die with him. He'd only throw 90 pitches. There was no reason to take him out of the freaking game. I couldn't agree more, 100%. And it brings Stanek in, who's been more bad than good. And really, the Met bullpen is, outside of Edwin Diaz, let's be real. And everybody's gotten hurt now. Nunez got hurt. Buto is hurt. Everybody's hurt. Minter got hurt. Right? All these guys. It really is amazing how these pitchers, whether it's a starting pitcher and the relief pitcher, they're always hurt. Vanek, whatever his name was pitching good. He's hurt. I mean, it's a joke. And now the bullpen is pretty much in shambles. It's Edwin Diaz. It's Barbizon, who's been up and down. He has good moments, bad moments. Had a great moment the other day saving the game. The first game in Baltimore, when he came in and closed it out in the 10th inning, he's had some good moments and he's had some bad moments. Outside of that, what do we got in the bullpen right now? So I leave Peterson in the game. He shouldn't have took him out. But you know what the bottom line is? And the same thing in the second game. We can get crazy about the second game. It was 7-3. They had no pitches. I think my wife is sneezing. I don't know. Bless you, darling. That's going to cover it for a while. They had no pitches, and they got no pitches. Look at the guys. Who are these guys? Hageman, Lovelady. Who's the other guy? I don't even know these guys. One stiff after another. Waddell, or whatever his name is. Just one brutal pitcher after another. And that's it. What do you expect? But they didn't hit. They got 4 runs in 2 games. They didn't hit. And if the big guys in this lineup, if the top 4 guys, and she's going to keep sneezing into infinitum now. If the top 4 guys, she'll sneeze more than the amount of hits the Mets got in the doubleheader yesterday. But if the top guys in the lineup, and maybe I'll throw McNeil in there, if they don't hit, they don't score. I killed Vientos on Monday. I gave him the Joey T. Underachieving Award. He could get it every day. Because he stinks. I'm tired of watching this guy play. Send him down. I know he got 2 hits in the first game of the doubleheader. Big deal. He never gets a big hit. He strikes out all the time. You throw him those breaking balls. He struck out one time, I guess, yesterday in the second game, 3 pitches, and he was out of there. I think there actually was runners on, too. He's terrible. I've had enough of him. Maybe they got something with Mauricio. We still got to see more. He hasn't been great either. Beatty's been, he had a nice hit yesterday to drive in a run in the second game with 2 out, but he had a big error too. He's really played well defensively, and he had a huge error in the game. And that's another thing about the second game. They played with their heads up their rear end. How about the play? They got away with it. I guess it was the first inning where Lindor, an easy play to get out of the inning instead of throwing the ball at first base because he really couldn't get the guy at second because it was a 3-2 pitch with the runners running, right, with 2 out. And he flips it to second and they don't get him. They're lucky to get out of the inning. Then Beatty had a big error in the game. Lindor made a bad flip at second that prevented them from getting a double play. They just didn't play well. But they don't hit. If the big guys don't hit, if the top four guys, like I said, I'll throw McNeil in there, if they don't hit, they get nothing. They get nothing out of Torrens. They get nothing out of Sanger, who's, these guys as far as anything offensively. Very little out of Tyrone Taylor. He did get the RBI hit in the first game, But, I mean, that, what are you getting from these guys? And they're killing them. They really are. And what's going to happen? You're going to bring Alvarez back up, and he's going to do the same thing he did before he went down because he's been hitting pretty well down there. I don't know what to tell you. It looks like Winker got hurt again, right? Is he on the IL again? Did I see that? He got hurt again, Winker? So much for his return. You got Marte on the IL, DL, God forbid you say that, the IL, right? But, so there's a lot of things to get aggravated about. There's no doubt about it. But let's relax because there's forever baseball to be played. You already counted them out when they lost 13 out of 16 and they were playing like absolute crap. Everybody had them done. Now you got them done again because they lose a doubleheader to Baltimore. I mean, give me a break. Go into Kansas City. Got Sanger pitching tonight. Hopefully, you know what's going to happen, though. Sanger's going to give you 5 innings and going to pull him out. He's going to be on some kind of dumb pitch count, and he'll be out of the game. So you got Sanger tonight, and then the bullpen probably for the last 4. Tomorrow you got Montas. I mean, I don't know how you feel about him pitching tomorrow, but, we'll see. He was okay the last time against the Yankees. Okay. Mets actually scored runs in that game. And then you got, I guess, Manaea is making his debut on Sunday, but it sounds like it's going to be him with Clay Holmes backing him up in that game, as we go into the All-Star break. So, I look, there's 12 games over 500. I can't get nuts. We know they were 21 over at one point. You can't even look at it that way now. I think the worst is behind them. Hopefully the pitching staff is going to get healthy now. But I still think the biggest problem, and I really mean this, say whatever you want about the injuries to the starting pitching, the injuries, the crumminess, these guys you never heard of in the bullpen just making you delirious, okay? They don't hit enough. I don't know how else to say it. I know Alonso had a bad day, left a lot of people on yesterday, but how can I get on him? He's been the one guy that's hit all year with runners in scoring position. They don't hit enough. They don't get the biggest problem, like I said, they don't score enough. They don't hit enough once you get past the 4th or 5th spot in the lineup. They just don't. And, I don't know what to say. Like I said, Vientos to me is the biggest culprit because this is a guy that last year gave him 27 homers and 71 RBIs and was great in the playoffs. And he's basically fallen off the face of the earth this year. That's been a really big hit as far as the lineup. Everybody else has pretty much done what you figure. Lindor's had a pretty good year. He's done, Lindor's done Lindor things for the most part. Nimmo's been good. He's been hot. Pete's been better than he was last year. Soto, for the most part, after getting off the not the greatest start, has been Soto. The guy that's really killed him is Vientos. He really has. When McNeil's been pretty good. Everybody goes delirious over OPS. He's over 800 OPS. But the Vientos is the guy that's really killed the Mets more than anybody else on this team in this lineup. And I don't know what you're doing him. I mean, maybe you got to send him down. I think you should send him down. I guess they're not. We got 3 games left against Kansas City here. I'm sure he's not going to get sent down. Maybe if he S's the bet again this weekend, maybe you will see him after the All-Star break be sent down. But you got guys hurt. You got Marte hurt. It looks like you got Winker hurt now. So, it just goes on and on. But you just can't get delirious. Everybody, even Kenny's punting on the season. Oh, they're not making a play. Well, I don't know that. They're still leading in a wild card. There's still 12 games over 500. One of the big problems, too, that's really starting to emerge with the Mets is they're 2 different teams at home and on the road. What are they, 33 and 14 at home? So they're 19 games over at home, and they're 7 games under on the road. I mean, that's been a problem. They have not played well on the road. They've been, like I said, they're 2 different teams. And that's another thing that's been a problem here. They need to win 2 games in Kansas City. They better not get swept. Even if they lose 2 out of 3, I'm not going to go nuts. But, going into the break where they come home and I think they play Cincinnati. But that's been a big thing with the Mets. They've been a much better team at home than they've been on the road. And that's another factor going on with this team this year. So what can I tell you? But you can't get crazy. It's 162 games. You just got to calm down. I don't think they're not making. I think they're making the playoffs when all is said and done. You got to believe that as we come up to the trading deadline, that our buddy, the boy wonder Stearns, is going to make some kind of a move here. They probably need another pitcher. They need another bat. I mean, whoever that bat is, you talk about a center fielder. I keep hearing Cedric Mullins, who, by the way, kills the Mets when they play him. Killed the Mets in the series in Baltimore. Now, I don't know. I mean, can you get him from I don't know. Maybe you can, maybe you can't. Can you get him from the Orioles? Who knows? I don't know the answer to that. I don't know. But they probably need another bat. Who that guy is, don't ask me. I don't know. But I got to believe Stearns is going to do something, right? You got to think Stearns has got to do something here. So I think you got to relax, and some of these guys, man, you got to, your whole world, and I'm not going to mention names. I'm really not. But your whole world cannot revolve around your sports teams. I mean, I'm sorry. You just can't. And if it does, I feel bad for you. The Mets are, my teams I root for, the Mets, the Jets, Knicks, Rangers, they're up on the list of things I care about, but they're not number one of what I care about or what I'm most concerned about. All right? They're not number one. There's other things that concern me more. And the fact that we're in the summer, I mean, it makes it easier to deal with, like a day like yesterday. I'm sorry. When the weather's hot and I could go to the pool, I could play golf, my mind is on other things. I also have a pretty decent looking wife. So there's things to do. You know what I mean? That maybe everybody can't. But I mean, you need to have more of a life than you do. I really have to say that. And you got to calm down. 162 game season. How many games have the Mets got left now? 70 something? I'm even trying to think. 53 and 41, 95. So what is that? 62, 95. 67 games left? Is that where we're at? I think we got 7 games to go. They're still leading in the wild card. They're still 12 games over 500. You got to freaking calm down. Like I said, are there things that should concern you about this team? No doubt about it. 100%. But you cannot live and die. And again, you can't look at the eternal baseball season and with a football mentality. You can't look at it that way. You can't compare 162 games to 17 games. I mean, you just can't do it. Every game, over 162, every game is not maximum importance. Even though we think that way, we want to win every game. But when you break it down, it really isn't. Now, if they go into Kansas City, get 2 out of 3, I'll be more than happy. Get 2 out of 3. Win this series. 3-3 road trip. Okay. Especially the way they play terrible on the road. So you just got to, like I said, if you're a Met fan, I mean, look at the Yankees. Let's just look at the Yankees for an example right now. Everybody was burying the Yankees, right? The Yankees were playing like crap. They had the 6-game losing streak. They get swept in Toronto. The Mets beat them the first 2 games of the series at City over the weekend, right? They win the game. They bounce back to win the game, last game of that series. And now they come back and they've swept the Seattle Mariners and came back with a huge win last night when they were down 5-0 with this kid pitching for Seattle, a no-hitter into the 8th inning. And the Yankees came back and won the game in extra innings. And now they've won 4 in a row. And now, you got a different feel if you're a Yankee fan than you had a week and a half ago. And that's how this game is. Again, it's a beyond a marathon. It's like a couple marathons. It's like a combination of the New York and Boston marathons together. That's basically what the baseball season is. 2 different marathons. Maybe you could throw another one in there. That's how long it is. So, again, got to calm down, man. And it's a great time of year. Enjoy the weather, man, because you know what? Before you know it, it's going to be freaking cold again. And for my fellow golfers out there, before you know it, I'm not going to be playing again. We're going to be screaming because we can't play golf right now. Thank God we're in the middle of the golf year. Thank you, Lord. So, what else can I tell you? Anyway, Benigno, the Yoda Paying Podcast. We'll get the sponsors in here. Again, the bosses were apparently our buddy Mike Jones, what I've heard, who runs the Hackensack Brewing Company, I believe is in Croatia. That's what I heard. I guess he's vacationing in Croatia. I actually have heard decent things about Croatia as far as a vacation destination. So, I mean, for what that's worth. But I guess that's where he is. So when he comes back, we'll finalize, probably the end of the month. Either the end of the month or early August will be the next live podcast at the Hackensack Brewing Company. We will keep you posted. You'll know as soon as we know. We'll put it that way. Of course, the Anita Discount Tire, my son Johnny, the whole group over there, Ari, everybody running the show there. God bless them all. Go check them out. You need work done with your car. You need your tires. You need your car inspected. They'll take care of you. See Johnny, see Ari. They'll get it done. Rob, one of the great mechanics there. Again, it's in Rivervale, New Jersey, on Westwood Avenue, Rivervale, New Jersey. Tell them Joe B sent you. And, of course, Manscaped. They'll be back. Apparently, they'll be back with us next month. So, but, we love them, the 5.0 Ultra, all of that. God bless that. Give you that. As we always say, the illusion, if nothing else, of extra innings. Extra innings. Oh, yeah. Innings. See this? I got baseball on my mind. Inches. We're more worried about that illusion than we are about innings right now. Should be anyway. But nevertheless. All right. Benigno, the Pain podcast. Got the ridiculously early show tomorrow. Starts at 5. I'll tell you, it's it kills my system. Nobody cares, but it does. Thank God I do it from home. Probably, of course, I wouldn't be doing it if I couldn't do it from home. But nevertheless. So that's the story. Not a lot of other things really going on. You got Mike Brown, had his press conference with the Knicks. I mean, it is what it is. He's got to win. To me, there's no other gray area here. Got to win. Nobody's under more of a hot seat than he is. They got to win. And it's not just the finals. They got to win a championship. I mean, come on. It's only been going to be 53 years. Going to win a goddamn championship? You all think it was a mistake? I think it was a huge mistake getting rid of Thibodeau. Mike Brown doesn't exactly excite me. But let's see if he can get it done. Only one guy has ever got it done, and that's Red Holtzman. He's the only guy that ever taken the Knicks to a championship, and that's a million years ago. So let me see if Mike Brown can be that next guy to do it. I will say my confidence level is not high. It's not high. But we can't get crazy about that. As far as football, I mean, it is what it is. I mean, training camp's a ways away yet. Not sure. I guess it's not that far. Maybe 10 days. 20. Did they start on the 20th, 21st, whatever? Something like that. And, we'll see. My expectation level is extremely low as far as being a Jet fan. We'll see what kind of coach Aaron Glenn is. We'll see what kind of quarterback Justin Fields is. We'll see about a lot of different things. We'll see about the 3, number 1 picks in the offensive line. We'll see about hopefully a big bounce back year by the defense. We'll see. There's really no other way to say it. You're a Jet fan. I have no expectation level. You can be as excited as you want to be. I told you, the best thing for me, as far as being a Jet fan, is that the schedule is very favorable as far as time. 14 games at 1 o'clock on a Sunday afternoon. 1 game at 9:30 in the morning on a Sunday morning against Denver. It's great. That's the one big benefit of being a crummy team, is that you get all these early 1 o'clock starts instead of all these hideous night games. And, of course, the league stuck it to us again because we're the Jets by having the season open with the Steelers, who, even though the league didn't know, it wasn't official at the time that Rodgers was signing with Pittsburgh, the league knew that he was. And, of course, that's why they had the Steelers come into Citi Field. We wish. Come into MetLife Stadium for opening day. And we'll see. I mean, I figure Rodgers is good for at least 4 touchdown passes in that game. Thank God it's not a night game. And you know this too. Whether you want to admit it or not, Jet fans. Rodgers is going to have a big year for the Steelers. I mean, to me, there's no doubt he's taking them to the playoffs. He is. I'd be shocked if he doesn't. So get ready for that. Try not. If you're a Jet fan, I'm already prepared for it. You know how I felt about letting Rodgers go in the first place. So if you're a Jet fan, though, just figure that there's no doubt that Rodgers is going to have a big year, and I would say at least a 75% chance that he's leading the Steelers to the playoffs. So don't let it make you crazy. Similar to Brett Favre, who when he left, even though Favre left the Jets because he wanted to leave, and really Rodgers didn't. I mean, it doesn't seem that way. You know what happened? Favre took the Vikings to the NFC Championship game, and watch Rodgers do at least the same for Pittsburgh in the AFC. So, can you see it now? The Steelers in Kansas City for the AFC title game. Would anybody like be shocked by that? Or in Buffalo, let's say, for the AFC title game, right? Pittsburgh, Baltimore, right? Something along those lines. Would anybody be shocked about it? So, anyway, it is what it is. But I got really nothing else for you. Oh, the British Open next week. They got the Scottish Open going on now. I think Scheffler shot a 67 yesterday. Really haven't started paying attention to it. They are going to be covering it on, I believe, CBS, actually starting at noon the next 2 days, which means that, they're picking it up from like 5 o'clock in the afternoon in Scotland. So, but next week, the British Open, Royal Portrush in Northern Ireland, which is where Shane Lowry won his British a few years ago. So that's coming as well. But outside of that, really a quiet time in the sports world, unless you're into WNBA. If you are, God bless you. Don't ask me to comment on it. Anyway, everybody have a great, what can I tell you? Everybody have a great rest of your weekend. Check me out tomorrow from 5 to 9. Hopefully I'll be up in time. No, I'll be there. I mean, I may be dragging, but, I'll be there. I'll be there to get it done. Everybody, again, enjoy the weekend. God bless America. All the love to everybody, and we'll talk to you. We'll talk to you on FAN tomorrow morning. See you.